Hey, this is the pizza here, and this is a video of the Haunted Grotto. The Haunted Grotto is the level 39 cultivation. Hero's Tomb, my last video, was the level 29 cultivation. So, right now, I have 3 bosses to kill: Fair and Serenity, Sparky Igneous, and Goth Herculeon. This is the largest dungeon I've been to, and this video was originally about 50 minutes long. And so to get it to fit into 10 minutes, I had to speed it up by quadruple time and edit out a few things. The things I edited out, there wasn't any action going on and nothing really important, so that you don't miss anything. And so right now we're just making our way through the opening passageway into the dungeon. I had to stay back for most of these so that the monsters didn't lock onto me and start attacking me. And I will switch between being cameraman and actually fighting during this video, because some of the enemies in this dungeon do have area of effect attacks. And so right now our elf priest Elliot hasn't made it yet, so we hang back, waited for a while, and I skipped it, so you can see Elliot coming back up. And now we get all the buffs from Elliot. By the way, Elliot is a level 44, and Goofy Boy is level 46 Human Warrior, and they are both from my guild Valor. So, right now we are making our way still past the first few passageways of the dungeon. The next big room up ahead is where the passageway splits into 3 crossroads, and you decide where to go and which boss to fight. In my last video, the Hero's Tomb and Green Shirt Tomb video, I did make a mistake, and I meant to say that the average party level for that dungeon should be around 35, not 45. The average level for a party in this dungeon should be preferably a little bit higher than 45. But it doesn't necessarily have to be 50. So right now I see these deep spike Mysons were attacking. The purple and green turtle-like things. They actually explode when they die, and the explosions are taking out about half of my health. So every time they die, I try to get away from them so I'm not harmed by the explosion. And so also those little chicken bird type things also explode when they die. The explosions from the 2 different types of monsters take out the same amount of health. So you gotta watch out for those explosions, because if you're low on health, you should probably stay away or else you could die. So just watch out for that and take note of the monster's health. So there I got in 1 area of effect spell, and then knowing that they were all about to die soon since everyone in the party was hitting them, I jumped out of there. And so right here I actually got disconnected from the server, and when I jumped back in here, my party had actually fought ahead a little bit more, and then I got aggroed by 2 monsters here, so I transformed into White Tiger form to run away from them. I wanted to see how far behind me they were, and I dragged them towards my party, who then hit them so that they would stop locking on me, and we managed to get them off of me. So here in this room is the first of the 3 bosses. And I had the iron blood tablets for these. And the only way the blood tablet can work, and what blood tablets do is they give the party extra experience for killing the boss. So the only way it can work is if I'm alive and I'm the party leader. So right now here I activated it. And if you're not alive when the boss is dead, then the party doesn't get the experience. And everyone in the party will get the experience if you're alive. So right here, however, I didn't know that the boss had area of effect attacks, and I died. And the thing is, our elf priest also died. So the elf priest actually had to respawn out of the cave in a city and run back here. So I was actually dead for about 15 minutes, while everyone else tanked the boss, making sure not to kill it until I was revived. So that little area right there was where we start to think that this dungeon raid was just going to go wrong. But we continued on and went on to the next boss. And that first boss was Fair and Serenity, by the way. So right now we move on to the next boss. And before we fought any monsters, we always checked to test out if they exploded when they died and if they had area of effect spells, because I had to be very cautious about that. So the next boss we're going for is Sparky Igneous, which is a tougher form of those chicken type things that you see. And just like those chicken type things, Sparky Igneous does explode when he dies. I'm not sure if the explosion deals more damage than if a normal monster died, because I was not within the area of the boss when it died. So here we are entering the boss's chamber. So I didn't have much involvement in the fighting here, because all the enemies in these rooms explode when they die. And so I switched to cameraman for just a little while. And later on I will once again activate the blood tablet, so my party can get extra experience for killing the boss. And that red chicken right there, it's basically just a slightly tougher version of the orange ones. And so at the time of this boss battle, we did not know if the boss had area of effect spells or not. So just to be safe, I stayed clear and acted as cameraman. So I just activated the tablet there. So now I switched to cameraman, hanged way back in case the boss had long range area of effect spells, and then just let my party handle it. After examining the video, however, I determined that the only area of effect attack this boss had was the explosion when it died. So I could have gone in there for the attack, but it was better to be safe than sorry, and risk having to tank the boss for another 15 minutes while we tried to revive me again. So this boss, just to remind you again, is Sparky Igneous. Now all the bosses in this dungeon do have a chance of dropping orange molds when they died, or gold molds, however you want to call them. This video was actually taken during the 1.5 drop rate event. So the drop rate was increased by 0.5. So we got more gold and a few more rare items. But unfortunately, none of that rare items was transferred to me, and it was distributed to my other party members. So I didn't get any real good loot, but some of my party members did get some pretty good stuff from this. So now we make our way to the final boss in this dungeon, and we are fighting a new enemy. So the first time I fought this enemy, I tested out to make sure that didn't explode when it died. And so now I get much more involved in the fighting, since none of these enemies have area of effect spells or explode. And we are getting close to the final boss. The last boss we fought was Goth Herculeon, and after about half of the boss's health was gone, we determined that it didn't have area of effect spells. So for the first half of the boss battle, you'll see me acting as a cameraman, and then for the second half, you'll see me start to fight the boss. And Goth Herculeon is right at the end of this room. And so we did not go throughout this entire dungeon. Even with how long this took, we still did not clear out the entire dungeon. And so now I activated my last blood tablet to once again give my party more experience for killing the boss. And now I switched to cameraman. And each of the bosses in this dungeon, if you weren't able to notice, is surrounded by 3 or 4 of the normal enemies. And every time we clear out the normal enemies before going after the boss. So now that's Goth Herculeon they're attacking right now. We didn't know if it had area of effect spells yet, but then now we know it didn't, so I went in and started to hit it. And most of what these bosses dropped was gold, so it was a little unfortunate with what the bosses dropped. And that was my entire trip through the Haunted Grotto. Thanks for watching.